Hello, friends. Today we are going to start a new topic that is known as scientific management. That is a part of chapter second, principles of management. In this chapter, in this topic, we are going to study about meaning of scientific management, features of scientific management, and its principles of scientific management, which has been given by Mr. F. W. Taylor. So, scientific management is propounded by Frederick Winslow Taylor. We also call him F.W. Taylor. He was a person, within a very short duration of time, he has been promoted from an ordinary labor to a position of a chief engineer in the company known as Medieval Steel Company in USA. Because of his hard work and dedication, he has been also promoted to a position of chief engineer in the same company within a short span of time of 6 years only. So during this period, Taylor has conducted a number of experiments, and after doing number of experiments, he has came on a conclusion that the amount of work which the laborer are doing is very less than the compared less as compared to what they are supposed to do. So he gave a number of suggestions to solve this problem, that how a worker or a laborer can give their 100% and how they can be beneficial for the company. So he has given his some of his outlook, which has been known as the scientific management. Later on, Taylor has worked in Bethlehem, okay, in steel company, and after that he has also published one research paper which was known as shop management. The name of the paper titled was shop management, and in 1911 his book principles of scientific management has created a lot of informative information has been given by F.W. Taylor. Later on, Taylor has died in the year 1915, so his contribution to management will also always be remain immortal. So this was a brief description about F.W. Taylor, how he has contributed in the field of management, how he has derived his principles, scientific principles of management, what all suggestions he has gave, that later on came to be known as the scientific principles of management, now which we are going to discuss in detail. So, first of all, we should know what is the meaning of scientific management. Scientific management is actually a management where F.W. Taylor says that a person has to think in a scientific manner. He has to replace all those traditional approaches, and he has to analyze the work thoroughly, and then he has to take a decision. So, in short, scientific management is performing the work in a scientific manner, or we can also say in a systematic manner. We should find out the one best way to do the work, and we should remove all those traditional approaches, and we should adopt newer and more scientific approaches. That is known as scientific management. So before, scientific management says that before taking any decision, a manager should first analyze it, and then he should take the decision. Now, definitions of scientific management. If you read the definition, it is a definition given by F.W. Taylor, that scientific management is the act of knowing exactly what you want meant to do, and then seeing to do it that they do it in the best and the cheapest way. So that only which I told you, that F.W. Taylor says that we have to know, we should know exactly what we want our laborers to do, what we want our workers to do, and then after doing the work, after seeing, we should do that they should do the work in the cheapest and the best way, that is with minimum wastage, maximum output should be there. We should utilize our workers in effective and efficient way. So we should find out one best and the cheapest way to do our work. Now, if we talk about, one definition is given by Peter F. Drucker also, which is often being asked in the exam, that the core of scientific management is the organized study of work. Here we do the systematic study of the work, then we analyze the work, and finally we find out the systematic improvement of workers' performance of each element. So we also see that the work performed by the workers should be in a systematic manner, and there should be improvement. Now, what are the features of scientific management? The first and the foremost feature is systematic approach. Of course, systematic approach here means that the management should ensure all the activities should be performed in a systematic manner, and every work should be completed in a systematic way. Second, brings mental change. mental change here means there should be a mental revolution. Now both the workers as well as employees should have a positive attitude towards each other. Both the parties should work for the production, better production, rather than chasing higher profits. Their aim should not be to gain higher profits, but they should together they should achieve the organizational goals. Next is discard traditional management. The approach of scientific management completely says that we have to discard the traditional methods, discarding of the old techniques. We should discard all the old techniques and we should adopt a newer technology, new methods, so that the efficiency of the workers can be improved. This is nothing but the outcome of the complete change in attitude. Next is required strict observance and rules. Scientific management also says that there should be strict observance of rules, because rules are formed only after due analysis. So after each and every analysis, the rules are being formed, and then after once the rule is being implemented, there is very little chance of error in them. So he says that there should be a strict observance of rule. The rule should be followed strictly, and the management should follow the rule, and there should not be a traditional management. And the last is that there should be improve the efficiency of the worker. The main objective of the management should be to increase the efficiency of the workers. And how the efficiency of the workers can be improved? That can be improved only by conducting various kind of studies, such as a manager should study about the should time study, motion study, fatigue study. He should have a proper analysis of that. Then only the efficiency of the workers can be improved. Now, what are the various principles of scientific management? Scientific management principles has been given by F.W. Taylor, and there are four principles of management of F.W. Taylor. First is science, not rule of thumb. Very important principle. Like Henry Fayol has given 14 principles. Similarly, F.W. Taylor has given four principles of management. Principle number one, this principle says that we should not get stuck in the set routine with the old techniques. Okay, we should not follow the old techniques of doing work. Rather, we should be constantly experimenting, and we should always develop a new technique which make our work more simpler, easier, and quicker. So he says that we don't have to follow the old traditional method. Science, not rule of thumb. It is not the rule of thumb, but it is a scientific study. So we should follow the new techniques, new methods, and we should keep on experimenting, and we should make our work easier, simpler, and quicker. Next is harmony, not discord. Now, what is the meaning of the principle which emphasizes that the harmony, not discard? It says that there should be complete harmony between the management and the workers. There should be a proper working environment between the management and the worker. There should be a mental revolution on the part of both management and worker. Both management and worker should transform their thinking. Generally, what happens? The workers think that they are being overburdened, and the management think that the workers are not working. These are the attitude of a workers and management towards each other. So it says that there should not be this. There should be a mental revolution. There should be a change in the attitude of workers as well as management towards each other, and both have to transform their thinking. Now it also says that management should share gains of the company. If any gain the management is or the company is going to have, it should be with the workers, and the workers should work hard and be willing to embrace changes for the good of the company. So both have to work in harmony, in peace, and both has to work in a better way to achieve the organizational goal. Next is cooperation, not individualism. As you can say, the name itself is talking about the cooperation, and whenever we talk about the cooperation, a cooperation cannot be done individually. So it says that according to these principles, all the activities which is being done by different people in the organization must be carried with a mutual spirit. There should be a feeling of belongingness, there should be a feeling of togetherness. So Taylor suggests that the manager and the worker should together determine the standards of the company, and together they should be involved, and together they should achieve the objective, and they should be equally responsible for the responsibility and for the achievement of the organizational goal. So it says that cooperation is not individualism, but cooperations always should be there with the mutual understanding. And the last principle is development of each and every worker or person to his or her greatest efficiency and prosperity. This principle is generally concerned with the efficiency of the employees. Efficiency should always be built from the right process of the employee selection. If you want that your employee should give 100%, while selecting the employee, you should be very much vigilant. Next, it says that the workers are assigned certain, employees are assigned certain work. So, always, whenever you are assigning any duty, any responsibility to the workers, you should always see his or her capability and capacity. Then only you should give them the work. They should be given as per the required training, because if you are going to give them the work which in which they are specialized, it will lead to the greater efficiency for the organization. So it says that in an organization we have to think about each and every individual, about his or her greatest efficiency to the highest level, and the efficient employees always produce more and they earn more. So this will ensure the greatest efficiency and prosperity for both the companies and the workers. So it says that there should be overall development of each and every employee to his or her greatest efficiency and prosperity. Thank you so much. Please subscribe, share, and like the channel. And please share the video as much as you can. Thank you very much.